Well, and you haven't lived until you go through some good times and some bad times. So I'm going to talk about both a little bit, but I understand my life is a lot better than maybe this story portrays, but we're going to go from there. It is the first day of school. I am 6 years old, and I'm in elementary, Mrs. Thompson's class. And we're about midday, and she, I think, has us burning off some energy, so she has us run to the fence and back. And so we run back, and we get there, and we're lining up for water, and I hear some kids, and I think they're talking about me, and then pretty soon I realize they are talking about me, and they're busting jokes on me about my sweating, and I hear them using terms like gross and ooh, and I'm like, didn't we just run a fucking race? You know, like, I came in second, I'm not saying anything, but I was way ahead of you guys. But I felt a little sweat dip off my nose, and I was like, I think I better go check this out. So I go over to the sink area where the paper towel dispenser is, and I bend down, and in the reflection in the middle of the dispenser, I see my face. I'm like, holy shit, that's a lot of sweat, man. And something I haven't felt, I mean, only 6, I haven't felt everything in my life. This embarrassment came over me, and I was like, oh man. So I grab a bunch of paper towels, and I hurry back to my desk, and I hunker down, and I start wiping off my forehead. I'm wiping. The more I think about it, it stops sweating, it's pouring and pouring out of me words, and I'm like, man, I'm in trouble. And I start breathing a little different. And I only know this now, looking back, but I was having my first of what would be many panic attacks. And yeah, it was a bummer. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, trying to process this as a 6-year-old guy, so I'm looking back first. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, sweat has made me ugly. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm never gonna sweat again. And well, I'm growing up in Miami, Florida, and I'm in an open school with no AC. And, well, needless to say, I do my best, but I probably have a breakdown at least once a day or maybe 3 times a week because, well, we have PE every single day. Some folks don't know about that, but we have physical education every single day, an hour with Coach Pollock. So anyway, long story short, I make it through the 6 years of elementary school, and I'm looking forward to middle school, and I'm thinking this is going to be great. Well, that summer, in between the two, I decided to do the thing I could have done without that, and I gained 30 pounds. And now I am a big man, or husky little dude, rather, going into the 7th grade, and I'm carrying a couple things with me, and added on to my anxiety of sweating, I now have put body shaming on me. So yeah, bummer too. So I'm moving through, so I'm going through, and I make it through middle school the best that I can, but I am falling apart, especially in any tense situation. As soon as I felt the sweat coming on, I would just panic and want to get out of there and things like that. So, and I don't know about your household, but growing up, we didn't talk about mental illness very much. It just wasn't a topic that came up. So there was going to be no therapist for me, and there certainly wasn't going to be some magic pill that sets me free. But there was going to be booze and pot. And self-medication began, you know, and that carried me through. It carried me through high school. It got me into college, you know, and then I get to college and, well, I kind of take I decided to quit drinking, which is a great thing, but I stick with the pot because, well, it's good. And so I'm going through college, and I start to notice that my anxiety is really jumping up, especially in social situations, you know, parties and whatnot, you know. I'd be at a party, and I was just a ticking time bomb. I'm like, it didn't matter what time it was going to come on, I was going to start feeling it, and I would turn to my girlfriend, now wife, you know, am I sweating? And I swear if we had $1 for every time I asked my wife, am I sweating? We'd be millionaires. So anyway, in party situations, I would feel it coming on, and the second it would, I need an escape, you know, and the bathroom was always a good escape for me. You know, I would jump in that bathroom, and as soon as I got in there, I was like, here we are again, you know, and I'm staring in that mirror, and I'm trying to make sense of my life and trying to break all down this, while all my friends who love me and who aren't judging me are out there having a great time, and I'm in there just trying to convince myself that I'm okay. So I flush an empty toilet, and I go back into the party, and of course everything's okay, and they welcome me back, but it's always embarrassing of, hey, where'd you go? You know, and here I am. I mean, I was a funny guy, and I was really, I mean, I had good jokes, and I had good stories, and here I am, you know, the would-be life of the party, stuck in the potty, and it just drove me crazy. And so moving forward, I graduate, and I get my first job, okay, and it's in business, and here in town. And what's the first lesson in business they teach you? Never let them see you sweat. I'm like, holy shit. I can do it, you know? And I got hung up on that never. And the people who were my management, I love them, they're great friends of mine, but they were really pushing me for greatness. Well, why they were pushing me? They were pushing me. And I was feeling that stress. And I really couldn't comprehend it because I started kind of coming up with this, hey, I need to be perfect. And I started saying stuff to myself like, I should be talking like this, I should look like this, I shouldn't be sweating, or I should not be sweating. And in the end, I just had a series of shooting all over myself. Until I held my son for the first time in the hospital. Excuse me. Yeah, I looked at him, and it's something about holding a human being for the first time in your life when suddenly all your responsibilities and needs, they just don't matter anymore. It's all about them. And it's all about your wife, the mother of your children, and the family that you build. And we built a family, and in that moment there, I decided I wasn't going to shit on myself anymore. I was done with that. And we built a family and a home based on unconditional love, and there's no judging in that. So I started to rebound, and I started to do better. And then I learned some truths, and I learned some lessons and practices that would help me come to grips with my own anxieties. And so I did that, and I became better for it. You know, we all have a cross to bear in this world, and I wore mine, and I did the best that I could with it. I had my ups, and I had my lows, or my highs and my lows, but I stood through it. But I did leave with one regret, and that regret is this. I should have never abandoned that little boy in that reflection. That was wrong. He didn't deserve all that. He was a good kid. He was funny enough. He was cool enough, even when he was hot. And he didn't deserve all those pressures that I put on him. I wish I loved him then like I love myself now. Thank you.